What up, everybody? My name is Verb. I'm a liquid dancer. I've been dancing since 2001, late 2001, and I'm here today to share some concepts on foundational knowledge of liquid in general. I think the first place I'd really like to start is just the place where most people start, and that's the concept of hand flow. Now, hand flow, I can break this down for you into a 4 count. So we're going to start here at 1. So we've got our hands kind of in this prayer position right here. So we've got 1, then we're going to pull these fingertips down. Now we're at 2. We're going to bend into 3, wash back together for 4. 1, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when we smooth that out, it's going to look something like this. Now, hand flow can have various depths. So, that 4 count right there is just kind of a general guideline. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take this, and so we've got this kind of shallow hand flow right here. Right? Now we've got kind of a medium hand flow like I was showing. Now we can make this even bigger. This is kind of like what I would call a deep, big hand flow. Right. All right, so that's hand flow, and that's one of the basic concepts. So what does that look like in action? Well, we're going to be using our hand flow in different directions, right? We're traveling paths. Liquid is a style that's kind of about continuous flow and movement, right? Well, if we take this right here, then we can kind of float to the side like this. We can flow up like this right here. It's important to practice this not only in this direction like this, but also in the opposite direction. We want this in both directions. Why? Because the application is that if I can only go this way, it really limits things. We want to be able to also go in the opposite direction. So not only traveling this path, but also traveling this path, which means that a different hand is actually going to be leading that hand flow each time. So, all right, that's the concept of hand flow. And that's kind of what it looks like, right? Some posture tips when using hand flow. Having your elbows tucked in, sometimes you may want to do that, but it kind of limits things as far as the paths you can draw. If you're locked in right here, then your whole illusion is limited to this small area right here. We want to have our elbows out a lot of the time, or one elbow out, so that would look like more like this, right? As opposed to this, right? So we've got these elbows out. All right, so that's hand flow. Posture, and so like you see how I've got a line here. We're going up and down this way. Lines. So that will allow me to take my liquid and really present it in the best clean way. Having poor posture or not creating a clean line, sometimes there may be a place in that if you're trying to create an image like that, but overall it's going to give a very sloppy illusion if that's the one dimension that you have, is this kind of tucked in, poor posture. Whereas, this sends a more commanding and dominant thing whenever you've got a clean line straight down your back, your legs drawing a clean line straight. We've got one knee bent. We can change our posture this way. That's a big thing, is the feet. So if you see the feet here, we can twist this way, or twist this way. That might help our liquid as well. So the second motion that I think is going to be very important is going to be one that you've probably noticed that I'm doing that's different than just the different than just the hand flow motion, and that's kind of this motion right here. If you think of the Twistoflex watches, you know, there's the concept of popping of Twistoflex, right? Where you bend like this. But there are these watch bands that you can kind of create these like helical strands with, you know, by bending them. But they bend. So instead of my liquid just being like this, I can bend it, right? There's this still this fingertip to fingertip connection right here, but it's being bent, right? So we could repeat that back and forth, back and forth. We are really just inverted, you know. Hands are facing up and down, and that's as we bend through a certain place, we start to align them back together, right? So as we bend through here, we align back together. There's splits, which is similar to the concept that I'm showing you. Splits is this hand flow right here, but let's misalign it so that our hands are misaligned. It can pass through paths that we previously wouldn't be able to do. So we've got our hand flow, but then we've got our hand flow splitted so that we can really step out into things. Okay, so now once we've established these foundations, one last piece that I wanted to touch on that kind of borders a bit on intermediate liquid is taking, once we've got, you know, a foundation of our hand flow, of our splits, of being able to bend through these places, it's time to really let liquid's creativity shine at that point. From an early point in your liquid journey, it's important to go ahead and start really pushing that creative boundary. Whether it's that I'm flowing and then my liquid starts to kind of get weightless and float up, or whether it's that I'm underwater and I really have to kind of push through that restriction, that drag that you get underwater. Think of ideas, you know, like maybe you see a spider crawling across the floor one day and think, how could I incorporate that into my liquid? You could be flowing, you know, doing this same motion here, and then maybe we bring it together and now I've got a spider crawling on me. So it's all these ideas that make your style. And that's going to be the final thought that I want to leave you with. It's important with liquid to think about, how am I going to make this my signature style? What creativity am I going to add to this? You know, that's really the key concept here. Is liquid is a dance that depends on your own creative approach. So find that creativity and really let it shine. All right, my name is Verb. I'm a moderator on Liquid Dance Lab on Facebook, and if you want to come through because you have any questions or anything you want to share, absolutely do. I'd be glad to critique videos for you or whatever it may be. My name's Verb, Verb Atkins on Facebook. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope that your liquid journey takes you great places. Peace.